Okay, so epistemology, as most people might know or guess, it's one of the five major branches of philosophy. The others being politics, metaphysics, aesthetics, and ethics. And you really can't have research of any kind without epistemology, because epistemology is the branch of science, a branch of philosophy, I'm sorry, that deals with knowledge and knowledge creation and knowledge construction. And what does it mean to say you know something? And that's what research is about. It's about trying to know something. It's about trying to see, what is happening here and what is true and what is not true and what is true under certain circumstances, what is true for who. So it's all about knowledge. And so what does it mean to say you know something? I know this. Well, does it mean you memorized it? Maybe. Does it mean you experienced it? Does it mean you've internalized it? And what does that mean? Does it mean you ate it? Like, how do you operationalize what it means to know something? And this is a millennia's old question. I mean, it really goes back to the roots of recorded philosophy, at least Western philosophy, and the conflict between Aristotle and Plato. Although it touches a bit on metaphysics there, but the idea, is there one reality or are there multiple realities? And that's really more metaphysical. But if we stick just with epistemology, so how do you know that you know something? And when you ask that question, it sort of reflects in on itself, and that's where philosophy gets a bad name. That's where people accuse it of being navel-gazing or elite or even irrelevant. But it's not enough for most questioning minds, like teachers, to just say they know something, or a student to say they know something. How do you know what you know? And then there are other political dimensions, like who is allowed to say they know? Who has the authority and the power to say this is true, and worse or better, this is what you should be doing? And that's where teachers often get this sort of apprehension about research, because it often comes at them with someone else's authority. Teachers are often handed research by principals and saying, this is what you should be doing, but you're not. And this is why standardized test scores are so horrible, because they're the proof. They're the inviolate proof. We have it in numbers that your students aren't achieving enough. But so what counts as knowledge? And that's the practical place where epistemology hits the classroom. What counts as evidence of knowledge? What counts as evidence of learning? Teachers think about this all the time, whether they, are explicitly phrasing it as a philosophical question or not. We're constantly scanning the room for evidence that someone's got it, that they're using it, that they can apply it, they can generalize it. And so then the bigger question, of course, is who makes the rules? Who gets the power to say this is what's true and this is not? And sadly, in terms of education and education research, it's not usually teachers. So who is this mythic norm that we're forced into trusting or adopting, whether we believe it or not? And interestingly enough, from the international teacher perspective, many of whom, not all, but many of whom use the IB curriculum, this is where that course called TLK comes from, Theories of Knowledge. It's all about epistemology and how you validate what you know. Now, for me, just as a personal sort of perspective, all of this for me goes back to the very beginnings of my doctoral program, when I was introduced to the work of Maxine Greene, who really unites in her work so many of the things I care about: aesthetic experience, interaction with arts, creative imagination, phenomenology, the study of lived experience, and interactive subjectivity. And for me, and this is, not to reduce anything to just a simple soundbite, but for me, a lot of this comes together in a button that I wear that you may have seen, that I got at a union rally about 25 years ago. I think it expresses the philosophy of all of this very simply in ask a teacher how to make schools better. And I think that's the forgotten principle in all of this. So that's my stance for the work I do.